So in the lower limb, we're talking about a vein, and this is what is known as the accessory saphenous vein. Okay, ASV, accessory saphenous vein. So it's not the main saphenous vein, but it's like, okay, accessory, like a branch off, you know. So accessory saphenous vein, you can see that this is what accessory saphenous vein. You can see that. So the accessory saphenous vein is also called what? The anterior accessory saphenous vein. Okay, so don't get me wrong, it's still the same thing we're talking about. Okay, accessory saphenous vein, anterior. So it's actually a superficial vein of the lower limb. It runs parallel to the great saphenous vein. Okay, that's in the thigh, and usually joins it at the saphenofemoral what junction in the groin. Okay, so you can see this is the what here, that's the junction. All right, so don't worry, when I upload the videos you see the pictures. Okay, so it arises from the superficial venous tributaries of the anterior medial thigh. Now don't get me wrong, veins start from down up. Okay, so sometimes it begins from branches around the medial aspect of the knee or thigh. So it ascends along the anteromedial surface of the thigh close to the great saphenous vein. So it typically runs more lateral than the great saphenous vein. Okay, so it joins the great saphenous vein near the saphenofemoral junction. Okay, so that's just it. You know, tributaries, it receives what? Small tributaries from the anterior thigh and sometimes from the lateral thigh, may communicate to the superficial veins of the abdominal walls or perineum. So drainage, it drains the superficial soft tissues of the anterior and the medial thigh. So ultimately empties into the great saphenous vein, which then drains into the femoral vein. So what's the clinical importance? Why would you really learn the anatomy of this vein? It can be involved in varicoses. Okay, so it's a common site of varicoces. Okay, surgical relevance is important in procedures like what the saphenous vein stripping and the what endovenous ablation. The variation, sometimes in some individuals it might be absent, sometimes it's duplicated, sometimes the way it is different from how I described it here. Okay.